come to play easy. They each have a deadly opponent and a rough day at the office. It's legend versus legend, and it's going down on Lightshade. Lightshade's rotated out officially, so we won't be seeing too many more throwdowns on this map. I'm not tearing up, I'm just allergic to the creep in Dark's main. Hey, xenoallergens are no laughing matter, people. Cure finishes his first supply depot, he'll go on to make a Rax, which gives rise to the age-old question, what exactly is in the supply depot? I mean, supplies obviously, but what kind? Coca-Cola, Pokemon cards, VHS tapes of Die Hard 1, 2, and 3? Anywho, it's a hatch first for our Zerg player in the top left. But he's broke contact, people. He's gone dark!
Current world rank 7.
Park Ryung-woo is a 2021 GSL champion. But so is his Terran opponent. If you've got the Starcraft plague, this man is the cure!
Current world rank 4.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We've got two players who are both GSL champions, both top 10 players, and both teammates. That sounds like a formula for a pretty decent game. I gotta be careful not to overhype here, because thus far everything is completely standard. Cure actually just went for the Terran quadruple. Getting his Reaper, sent his Scout, getting his Orbital, and getting a second CC. And what the Scout is gonna see is a classic hatch first. Here comes the Geyser of Fuchsia, and instantaneously Dark has his 2 queens on the way, together with 4 lings. Scout goes home, Reaper takes his place. They're gonna have a little high five right at the blinder in the center of the map. Oh, hold on, Dark's bringing out his drone early. That could get intercepted by the Reaper. No, Cure doesn't check. Dark gets lucky there. That means he's gonna be able to get his 3rd down extra fast. And now it's time for Zergling calisthenics. Dark's got to rotate those injured Zerglings until his queen can arrive. You know what they say, a stale Zergling is a dead Zergling. Dark added 2 more to bring his count up to 6, so he should be just fine. Party's over and it's no more free lunch for that Reaper. Or did I speak too soon because the Lings are dashing out? No, they're pulling back. Cure's gonna depart and wonder how that drone got past him. But he won't waste too much time in introspection. He snuck up into the main. Queen spotted him. Back at home, Cure's got the reactor switch underway. Dark's blocking the exit. He doesn't want to let him leave. But somehow Cure threads that needle and gets out. Ling speed starts up for Zerg. It's a starport back at home for the Terran. Cure rocking that Destiny Cloudfist build like it's 2011. Queen number 3's about to pop out and things are going to get even more difficult for that Reaper if he insists on sticking around. Terran Natural's up and running with that inaugural mule, and he's got his reactored Hellions just about ready. Since Cure's sort of playing the classics here, I assume they're going to join up with that Reaper. Oh, the factory's going to pick itself up a tech lab. Banshee, possibly a Raven. I'm hoping it's gonna be a Banshee. I get my wish, he's gonna research Cloak. Somewhere in the archives on this channel, I've done a video where I just gush about Cure's skill with Banshees. It's not that he micros them better than anybody else, it's just that he really keeps them alive. They tend to stay alive till at least mid-game and they get a lot done. He'll link them up with his main army and they'll kill roaches. There's so much more than an opening harass unit for him. Dark's got himself a Roach Warren, that's gonna finish up soon. Cure doubles up on Hellions, taking his count up to 4. 4 is enough to get a drone barbecue going, but he's gotta outmaneuver the Queen somehow. Oh, he's gonna get 2. It's gonna be a drone first blood, make it 3. And that's not a trade, that's a steal. It's certainly not game breaking for Dark, but it's a nice little morale boost for the Terran player. Banshee's out. Oh, but Cure's not gonna hide it. He's gonna give away the surprise value in order to kill that Overlord. So sure, Dark's gonna lose his Overlord, but he's gonna get some important information for his 100 minerals. Upon seeing the Banshee, he immediately starts up his lair. He wants an Overseer yesterday. Cloak could be in production, and in fact, it's actually quite near completion. Dark has not made any spores, and he still hasn't. What he does have is 5 queens. Cure's gonna want to see if he can keep some of those queens busy with his Hellions. Dark says no, I've got roaches for that. Oh, and a disgruntled Banshee already returning home. There's a second one in production though, so maybe Cure just wants to double up. Cure going to work on the creep as he starts up stim pack research. Dark is gonna finish up that triple spore. He had me worried there. But these pros always know how to delay it until they absolutely need it. Starport giving up the tech lab, making a new reactor. A slight worker lead for Zerg. That's showing up in the Zerg's gas lead. We're past the 5-minute mark and Terran hasn't lost a unit yet. But he hasn't done a huge amount of damage either. Layer completes, Dark immediately goes for roach speed. And that coveted overseer. Cure expending a scan, he's really focusing on creep control here. Yeah, he can't fight those roaches. He can kite them if he has the micro, but he can't go toe-to-toe. Terran starts up +1/+1. He's got double eBays. These Banshees have been a real tease so far. They haven't really made a move, but I guess you could say they forced out some spores in that early lair. Oh, but Kier does want to trade his Hellions. He tries for the main, but there's a queen there to block. He'll settle for a loaded mineral line. There's that barbecue. 5 dead drones, make it 9. Only the Reaper and a single Hellion are gonna get away. Banshee's trying to take advantage of the confusion. Stim pack is done, but there's no push out of Marines. Instead, Kier's gonna land his 3rd. Banshee's staying out of range of the spore. Dark throwing all of his larvae into drones. He's definitely compensating for his losses here, but the end result is that his army is just nothing but a couple of roaches and a handful of queens. Kier hasn't been able to stop the Zerg engine, but what he has done is he's protected himself from an attack for the next several minutes. I think Kier knows that and he's going to try to keep the pressure on. Double medevacs loaded with 16 Marines. And Kier's going to fill in that depot wall to protect his natural. Combat shield research underway. Double Evos for Dark now. He's started +1/+1 himself. And an infestation pit and a Hydra den. Dark's got a lot of gas coming in. We'll find out what he needs to do with it. Oh, this 4th base is never going to grow up to become an architect. Dark saves it with a cancel. And then again, more scans to control the creep. Remember, this is costing Pure Mules, costing him money. But he sees the value in restricting the Zerg's speed and vision. Oh, Dark, morphing his roaches into Ravagers just as they get low on hit points. More scans. Dark's just not allowed to have any creep at all. You see what I mean about those Banshees, though? They're not killing a lot of drones, but they're still making themselves useful. Hello, it's a lurker den. Dark's starting up the hive to go with it as well. It's kind of a weird thing. You only need a layer to make a lurker den, but you need to research hive tech in order to research the actual lurker upgrades. Okay, Cure pushing out here with an anti-roach force. He's got the bigger army and at the moment he's ahead on upgrades. Dark's giving up trying to put his base in that center left spot. He's gonna replant it top center instead. Cure though is looking to make life miserable for Dark at both spots. Lurker den's about to finish, and Dark is banking some money. I think these Banshees are just trying to see how much of the defense they can suck up to the north. And then boom, here comes the main force. Once again with the creep killing. I feel like he should buy a Raven. It may have paid for itself a few times over at this point. That assumes though that he'd be able to keep it alive. Okay, Dark is making Hydras. We know what that's gonna be for. Oh, a fungal! Dark just pinned down those medevacs for his Ravagers. Cure has to get out of there. If Dark doesn't hit that fungal, I think he loses that battle. And Dark's in trouble. All 3 of his bases are oversaturated with drones right now because he just can't get his 4th up. Well, and as I say that, it actually just pops. But now he's got to defend it. Cure seizes the high ground in front of that 4th base. Dark does not want to let him have that real estate. If he gets a tank up top there, Zerg will be disadvantaged. Oh, no detection available. These Banshees are having a field day. Oh, Cure is bringing the tanks. This battle could be pivotal. Dark is surrendering the high ground. Meanwhile, the Banshees are still at it. Dark's wasting transfuses, just keeping the Banshees busy. Oh, Cure's got that sweet position. It's going to be so hard to hold that 4th base now. Oh, that is a clever scan. Dual purpose. It increases the range on the tank, and it helps him clear out the creep. Oh, and the Banshees are still going at it. They don't even have cloak energy anymore. Also, Dark's clicked on them with an overseer. Oh, I look away for 1 second and the 4th base falls. I don't think Cure knows that Dark's hiding his drones. But the lurkers are on the field now, or should I say under it. And Seismic Spines, the range upgrade, is being researched. It's only +2 additional range, but it makes a huge difference, especially when you're dealing with tanks. And Dark's gonna need it, because a Zerg stuck on 3 bases at the 10-minute mark is an unhappy Zerg. Oh, he finally got that Banshee. That's something to cheer about. That was the one with 6 kills on it. The other one's got 10. And honestly, it feels like a lot more. Okay, +2/+2 finishes for Terran. He's gonna celebrate with a couple of bio-loaded medevacs. Dark goes back to trying to rebuild his 4th at the bottom left location. I think that's the best of a pair of bad choices for him. Those high ground tanks are gonna be so hard to dislodge. I guess the good news for Dark is that Cure hasn't taken a 4th. And he certainly could. Thus far, Dark has not really been able to generate any offense. He's too busy taking the punches. He's got to repel this drop. Hatch is saved. But Cure's just going to pick up and go for the natural. There's vital tech there and a lot of drones. Oh, Cure's actually using Dark Sim City against him. The Lings have to go the long way around to get to those Marines. Meanwhile, there's another push to the north. Cure is just being relentless. They're almost even on workers, which is a bad sign for the Zerg. And now a doom drop to the main. There's a spore there, but that's just not enough. Is this the end of our Zerg player? There's the drone pull. Where is the defense? Remarkably, only 7 drones have died in this assault. Parasitic bomb on the medevacs. That makes it hard to pick up your units. And in the meantime, Cure gets the 4th again. And then he's murdering all the drones long distance mining. Dark is taking such a punishment here. He's officially down on workers. I don't want to exaggerate here because Dark isn't exactly mining out at this point, this early in the game. But if he doesn't get a 4th and sustain it, he's going to be in some serious trouble. I guess the good news for Dark is that Cure hasn't taken a 4th himself. All of his money's gone into this relentless offense. Oh, a Ghost Academy researching cloak. That's going to be Cure's answer to the lurker threat. There we go. The lurker's setting up the static D around the new 4th base. Oh, he wants to double expand. I think that's a little optimistic. I think it's actually in range of the tank there. Cure getting his +3/+3. He's actually got the firepower to just run down these lurkers. That's supposed to be suicidal, but if you've got the DPS, to Dark's credit here, he's really taken the punches and he hasn't tapped out. Oh, Cure's not going to try to stim into that, is he? Yeah, he's going for it. There's too many spines there, though, right? Yeah, that might have been a mistake. He's got to drain his medevacs to heal that army back up. If he's patient and he positions it properly, he can probably do it with his tanks. Dark finishes off his +2/+2. Cure gets his +3 attack. He's also putting down an array of missile turrets. He wants to lurker-proof his base. I feel like Dark is showing signs of stabilizing. He's way down on supply, especially army. His tech is inferior, but he's holding his 4th even if it isn't done. And that's going to help him turn this around. I feel like those changelings represent the first time that Dark's actually gone onto the Terran side of the map. And if he gets far enough, what he'll see is that Cure's now taking a 4th of his own. Oh, here's a late game tech addition. That pustulant cocoon is apparently hoping to grow up to be a Nidus network. I hope Dark does something with that, but he doesn't exactly have vision of a lot of Cure's base. But he does have changelings in the top right. That might be what they're for. Or they could just wander up to the Terran army and die. Oh, but their lives were not in vain. They tricked Cure into stimming to go looking for the Overseer. Oh, okay, Cure does have an Overlord with vision of the Terran main. And I'm looking, and I don't see a missile turret in the main. Nidus is done. He's got lurkers nearby. But the problem is that Cure's maxed out at this point. That's just going to make him even more confident about trading. Yeah, he's going to do it. He's going to worm that main. Cure's going to immediately get vision of it. But does he have any units to actually respond to the threat? Most of his army's all on the Zerg side of the map with that relentless offense. It's a lurker burp. Cure's got a team of ghosts popping out of their racks. Dark has an opportunity to get on top of the Terran production. That remaining Banshee comes in to help. Dark repositions to dodge detection, forcing out another scan. Dark brings in an Overseer. He can see the ghosts now. He quickly sends those ghosts back to the afterlife where they belong, and the Queens are gonna deal with that Banshee. Oh my goodness, Dark waited almost 15 minutes to generate some offense, but when he did, it was worth the wait. He has commandeered Cure's main. Cure's got to pull back everything to deal with this. And now it's Dark who has the supply lead, Dark who has the income lead, and Dark who has the psychological I'm cooler than you lead. The latter, of course, being the most important. Oh, hold that thought. Cure sniped the Overseer. Dark only has the one. The ghosts of retaking control of the main. Dark is forced to retreat with his lurkers. You can't defeat what you can't see. But at a minimum, Dark has done enough damage to get himself back into this game. Cure has so much production he's got to rebuild. Oh, looks like those ghosts brought their ivermectin dewormer, because the main is officially worm-free. But Dark is seizing the moment to attack. He's put together a sizable force and he's threatening the Terran 4th. Or possibly the 3rd, he's wheeling south here. There's a sensor tower and a missile turret there. Or maybe I should say there was. The Zerglings go right at it. Just wow, this game completely flipped on its head. I thought Dark was done for. It's Cure's turn to be expansion poor. He's got a lot less workers too. Cure's making liberators to try to get out of this. Though that might be a function that his starport is one of the few buildings that survived. Cure's got 4 more Raxes on the way, but he needs them yesterday. Oh, and now the Terran 4th is undefended. Dark is returning all the pain that he received in spades. Cure's supply is just dropping. Oh, Dark tries to get a worm up just outside the Terran base, and it's GG! How about that ending? This was like a plot twist to an exciting novel. Cure is hitting Dark on all sides and he's slowly losing ground like a drowning man. Then Dark flips the switch and bam, he takes over the game. Cure has got to feel like he had that one. Slipped through his fingers. Just one quick comment before we jump into the next game. This really illustrates what I like to call the Karl Marx principle of Starcraft. He who controls the means of production controls the game. Most of the time, I'm emphasizing the player's income stream and who's bringing in more resources, as that stat is a great indicator of who's probably going to be ahead approximately 1 minute later. But money isn't worth anything if you don't have somewhere to spend it. Cure lost his means of production and had to rebuild it from scratch. That takes time, and Dark made sure that time was something Cure did not have. So there you have it. Karl Marx, one of the great StarCraft philosophers of our time. Anybody out there who still thinks StarCraft doesn't have life lessons to teach us? Well, another lesson is it ain't over till it's over. So let's get to game 2. Adjutant, if you would please.
The game begins now.
We are back, and as you can tell from the posture of those SCVs, they're clearly saying, okay Zerg, let's see you try that again. Dark is such an interesting player. It is an impoverishment that I haven't uploaded more of his games. I don't think he had that worm plan going into game 1. I think that was a desperation gambit, and boy did it work. Cure's gonna get a reset. This time we're gonna do it on the map of Romanticide. Games with the new maps will be coming soon. Let's sneak in a few intros here. Gothic rock, post-punk, new wave, and alternative rock. These are things you can expect to hear from the band The Cure! That's why Cure's APM is so high, he's actually a band of 5 different players. It's like Ultra Archon mode or something. But let's talk about the guy who's gone hatch first and now getting his extractor pool. Our Zerg player's more of a solo artist. I'm thinking maybe Bruce Springsteen, because he's dancing in the dark! Fun fact, that's actually Courtney Cox of Friends fame that's dancing in that video with Bruce Springsteen. Oh, looks like Cure's going for another Terran quadruple. He's gonna both scout and open with a Reaper. That's pretty much as safe as you can do it. Well, safe while still expanding anyway. Hatch is gonna complete for the Zerg. Dark's been a 2 queens, 4 lings kind of guy. Because it's a bigger map, the SCV's just gonna miss the pop. But we won't. Because around these parts, we love it. It is the fountain of eggplant. It is the natural hatch. And Dark is not gonna disappoint me, is he? It's 2 queens and 4 lings. SCV Scout's gonna head on home. Cure's not walling off his main. That's perhaps curious, though I assume he'll just use a future reactor to complete the wall. He's just delaying that though, getting out a couple of units first. And Dark's actually gonna get his 3rd down before the Reaper arrives. That's a luxury that larger rush distance gives you. In game 1, the Reaper attack was completely uneventful. Dark made a few extra lings and just kept rotating in fresh ones. Oh look, a Zergling attacked the unbuildable plate. It was a misclick, and that explains why players like to get rid of that thing. It's not a huge deal, but it's just one more thing for you to click on by accident. Queen is out, and suddenly there's a lot less room for that Reaper to maneuver. He's gonna get the Scout on the 3rd, and the Lings are gonna head up to the main to make sure he doesn't sneak in through the Reaper door. Meanwhile, that reactor's done, and we're in time to witness the reactor switch. But you'll also note that Cure is making a 3rd command center. But more interesting is that he's making a 2nd Rax before the starport. No 1-1-1 build this time around. Ling speed is underway for the Zerg player. Oh, that Reaper's pushing his luck a little bit there. Dark almost gets the surround. Cure's making his first pair of reactored Hellions now. No doubt he's going to try to link those up with his Reaper. I think that Dark's Overlord is actually off his perch. Oh, he's doing it on purpose. I'm not sure why. 3rd is done already for Zerg. Just 3.5 minutes, he's already got it up. Zerg's also got a worker lead at this point. That did not take long. Oh, the Overlord positioned at the back of the main. That guy played an important role in game 1. He granted the vision for that all-important Nidus Worm. It's not often an Overlord gets MVP status in a game. Actually, now that we're talking Overlords, check out the positioning of Dark's Overlords around his own base. Cure's trying to sneak up on him with those Hellions, but it's almost impossible. The Overlords are giving the Queens advance warning of where they're going to come from. You can do that on a lot of maps, but it works especially well on Romanticide. And what that does, it helps the Zerg push the creep out that much faster in the early game. Okay, so a starport did follow that 2nd Rax, but Rax number 2 got a tech lab so he can start stim early. Yeah, those Hellions aren't going to get anything done. There's too many Queens, and everywhere he turns there's an Overlord spotting him. Unable to get any damage in, Cure can at least take consolation that he's getting a nice quick 3rd. Zerg's economy is also looking nice. He's rocketed up to 50 drones. This has got all the feel of a big long game so far. Something can always happen to change the character of the game, but right now it looks like both players are going to have a lot of money. Why is that Overlord in a bad perch position? That Overlord almost died there. I'm sure Dark's doing it for a reason, but I do not know what it is. Hey, I've been educated in the video comment section by a few of you guys now, so if anybody knows the reason behind that Overlord positioning, do let me know. I'm curious. Now we know why the Marines are positioned there. As soon as they get sight of that Overlord, they just finish it right off. Then the medevacs pick up the Marines in one swift maneuver, and they're on their way for the drop. Dark getting down his 4th at just after the 5-minute mark. And double Evos researching +1/+1. And a lair, and a Baneling nest. He's getting everything. But is he ready for the double medevac drop? Scan drop. Cure really wants the creep. He actually prioritizes that over shutting down the 4th base. He's getting Widow Mines, by the way. Oh, Dark is sneaking Lings inside while this attack is going on. Not many, but just enough to make sure that Cure has to divert his attention. The Terran drop is getting cleaned up, and the Zerglings are getting dealt with as well. But they did force a sizable SCV pull, and that cost the Terran moolah. For several seconds now, Dark's mineral count has been double that of the Terran. I mean, it doesn't hurt that he's up 9 workers anyway. Cure is getting +1/+1 numeric upgrades with his double eBays, but he is behind Dark on that score. Stim is done though, and he's almost got combat shields. Oh, we've got Banelings to the north. Baneling speed's only just started up. So is Burrow, but look at this. Double macro hatch. Oh, this is so retro. This is like bell bottoms and afro retro. This is a very low-tech Zerg strategy. He's gonna try to surprise Cure by just having more Zerglings and Banelings than the Terrans used to. It can really throw the Terran off, but you have to be careful because you wind up way behind on tech. Well, he is making an infestation pit, so maybe he's just trying to do everything. Oh, the Widowmine gets good shots off, but it winds up being revealed. Cure doesn't have an armory for that yet. I think he wants one, because it'll also let him make Hellbats. Just in case I'm right, the Dark is going to be making a lot of Lings. I mean, he's making 22 of them right now. Oh, this could be fun, guys. Macro hatches are fun. Cure's adding 2 more Raxes to try to keep up. Oh, and he is adding that armory. Obviously, he heard me. Baneling speed finishes, and so is Burrow. We can only hope and pray that there are Baneling landmines in our future. Even though Dark has been making Zerglings like crazy, he did just squeeze out another 7 drones. That takes him up to 70 workers. And from there, he jumps to Hive Tech. I'm not sure what the plan is exactly. Macro hatches with Hive Tech. Cure doesn't have tanks this game, which is probably a good thing, because there's no roaches and the Zerglings will just jump all over those tanks. But it does mean that the Banelings could be a real problem for him. Cure splits are some of the best in the business. But splitting against Dark, that's a tall order. There's a mini raid on the 3rd there. Dark's got a bigger stash of Zerglings looking to follow up. Simultaneous attacks again. This is a high-octane game now. Both players have stopped making workers and are just cranking out units. Dark with the sandwich attempt. Cure gets away. He's starting to get a feel for just how many Zerglings are going to be in this game. Or maybe not, because Dark's making 38 more as we speak. You gotta wonder if the Hive Tech is maybe for the Crackling upgrade. Oh, we've got Baneling landmines. Oh, we could get to see them used already. Yes! Oh, and again, please, 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 yes! Oh, I love that. That means we're getting a slow-mo treat at the end of this game. Stick around for that. I'm telling you, it's one of the finer things in life. Forget the pursuit of personal achievement, Nobel Peace Prizes, and the betterment of mankind. What you want in life is to see a good Baneling landmine. Look at that Ling Stampede. They're gonna spot the double medevacs. Or did the double medevacs spot them? I think they both got caught there being up to no good. Oh, Cure shuts down Dark's attempt to take the 5th. He wanted to protect himself against self-incrimination, but Cure was having none of it. And then that loaded medevac is able to sneak behind enemy lines. Dark can't lose sight of that. He's about to finish +2/+2. And he's got a buried Ling to delay Cure's 4th. It gives him the vision to know he can safely roll up into that space. Cure's got a depot wall up to the east. Dark's looking to tear one down to the south. Bonus damage against buildings. Oh, that could have been so much worse if the Widow Mines hadn't been there. Dark got the door open, but his follow-up force was annihilated. Cure's about to catch up on numeric upgrades, getting his +2/+2. Oh, more landmines. I'd appreciate it if Cure would unload right on top of them. Snacking on the eastern wall. Oh my god. I think he actually is unloading on top of the mines. Oh yes. Oh, see it, Dark. See it. You gotta see it, Dark. Oh! Oh, he saw it. I think he obliterated about half that force. How do those Marines not have to make some kind of morale check and run for their lives? They just took an acid bath. And now they're getting surrounded by the Zergling follow-up. Dark's making 38 replacement Lings while this battle's going on. This game, he's out mining the Terran, and he's happy to trade away. Yeah, he's got over 100 Zerglings at this point. Game 1 was Terran domination with the Zerg comeback. Game 2 looks to be Zerg domination. Will there be a Terran comeback? Oh, Dark started up the Crackling upgrade. I don't see him doing anything else with his Hive Tech. I think that's exactly what it was for. This is mass Crackling with Baneling landmines. It takes a minute and a half, though, to research that upgrade. I think that puts Cure on the clock. He's got to get something done before that happens, because the world is kind of covered in Zerglings right now. It's interesting, because it has a really low-tech feel what Dark is doing. But technically, Adrenal Glands, aka Crackling upgrade, it's a very high-tech upgrade. It's at the top of the tech tree. And then, of course, Dark's going to combine it with +3/+3. Cure's going to get himself lots of mines, and he's going to start mixing in Marauders to help him deal with the Banelings. Stopping them from morphing in front of his base is a good start. I feel like Hellbats would be very helpful against the Zerglings. But the problem, of course, is they're not so hot against Banelings. Widow Mines, on the other hand, can splat both of those units. But look at that, 58 Lings in production. It's gonna take a lot of Widow Mines to splat that many Zerglings. Dark is maxing out on his Zerglings, which wasn't hard to do because he got himself 91 workers. And I think what we'll see is he'll gradually use his excess money to convert those lings into banelings. And eventually it'll just be too much for any Terran composition to handle. Except for maybe, say, Banshees and Battlecruisers. Actually, now that I think about it, Liberators would be good too. Oh, the Crackling upgrade's about to finish. I almost guarantee you that Dark is gonna want to test drive it. Kyr's 4th base is under threat here. It's a fortress, but I don't know if that's gonna help against that many Cracklings. The Marine support got chased off, and that fortress is gonna fall. The repairing SCVs are just gonna get ripped up here. So I've got this thing where I say Laser Light Show when Protoss loses a Nexus, and Horror Pinata when Zerg loses a Hatch. But does anybody have any idea of something cool to say when Terran loses a CC? And that would be a good time because Kyr might be losing a lot of them. The Lings are just flooding into the Terran base everywhere. Dark's Cracklings are just attacking every spot imaginable. It's a complete infestation. How does he clean this up? The natural disappears in a puff of smoke. The Crackling DPS is just too much. Kyr's got a nice counterattack underway, but the Queens are slowing it down, and that's all Dark really needs here. Kyr's getting eaten alive from within. He's supply blocked, and he's game blocked. It's GG. That's the series. Dark with a second entertaining game. First things first, it's rare that it happens, but occasionally I screw up and I miss the first blood. Well, here it was. A lone Zergling scout died off screen. Credit the first blood to Terran. Seems a little bit hollow now that we know Zerg wins both games and the series. But hey, I'm a completionist, and I like to cop to it when I screw it up. But hey, my observing couldn't have been too bad, because I did capture 3 good Baneling landmine hits. Number 1, number 2, and number 3 is the one that Kyr managed to unload right on top of. Okay, we gotta do this 1/4 speed in delightful 4K graphics. This is what I like to call quality corpse acrobatics. I mean, Olympic gymnasts can't pull that off. But Terran Marines, they've got your triple flip half pike well covered. This is some serious gold medal stuff. I'd like to coin the term necro-athleticism, but I feel like it would be grossly misunderstood. That's probably something even weirder than intended. So maybe don't start throwing that term around the workplace. But let's just briefly talk about this very cool game. Dark busts out the macro hatch style. More Zerglings than you can count, let alone kill. It's pretty cool as Zergling can actually benefit from 9 different upgrades, and Dark got every single one of them. There are so many things this build is good against. Zerglings are incredibly efficient against Thors. They close in on siege tanks so they can't fire. They're very effective against slow shooting marauders, and they can hold their own against Marines, though a numeric upgrade advantage sure does help with that. So what can a Terran do here? To my mind, it's the Hellbat with Infernal Pre-Igniter, aka Blue Flame. The Hellbats actually do what's called conical splash damage. They twist side to side to hit the Zerglings as they try to get the surround. Now the problem with Hellbats, though, is although they do great damage against light units such as Zerglings, they happen to be light themselves. They don't look it, but they are. This means that Banelings, who do terrific damage against light units, are really good at blowing Hellbats up. So if the Terran player goes for Hellbats, a solid Zerg transition is only a click and a 14-second morph away. Now Battlecruisers are pretty solid against Zerglings, but you kind of need to have them ready. A transition takes too long. And the Zerglings still have a speed advantage, especially on creep, and they may be able to outmaneuver the Battlecruiser entirely. Really, what I keep coming back to is that Marines, Stim Marines, not plain Marines, are not bad against all Zerglings. They have the attack speed and the movement speed to keep up. I think if your opponent is making macro hatches, though, you really have to have the medevac support to keep up, because you will be stimming over and over and over, and you've got to be able to pick up that army and fly it around quickly. That is, though, pretty much what Cure was trying to do, and it sure didn't look so hot in this game. So if you've got a TVZ strat to deal with this macro hatch build from Dark, let me know, because I'd love to hear it. Lastly, if you're new to this channel and you dig 4K, give some thought to subscribing, because we've got some good stuff coming down the pipe, and I don't want you to miss it. Also got a big back catalog of some pretty cool games if you want to play catch-up. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Especially my OGs who just keep checking in. I love you guys. So from my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stim pack your Starcraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.